Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I'm your host, Eric Smith, and today I am talking about TV Dinners from Hell by Amber Fallon. This is from Fresh Pulp Press, and let's get into it. So, in a nutshell, this is a short story collection from Amber Fallon. With illustrations by Chris Enterline and an introduction by Mary Sangiovanni. There you have it. Alright, so TV Dinners from Hell. Let's start with Amber Fallon. I read her, I believe it was her first novel, The Terminal, and it was enjoyable. It didn't blow me away. I thought it was a little rough around the edges, but it was entertaining, and it was enough that I was keeping my eyes open for whatever she was going to do next. And what I read next was The Warblers, which blew me away. Easily one of my top 5 novels of, well, it's a novella, one of my top 5 reads, let's say, for 2017. Absolutely fantastic, and it immediately made Amber Fallon an author who I'm always going to buy her stuff at this point. I'm going to look forward to anything she puts out. I'm going to read it. The Warblers was just amazing. So I was very excited when I heard about TV Dinners from Hell. I absolutely love that cover. This is such a throwback to the 80s, 70s, and 80s, the heyday of pulp horror. Let's see, that cover is by Mark Schoenbach. But fantastic. Just love it. So there are quite a few, a whole bunch. I'm not going to count them. A bunch of short stories in here. And the introduction, Mary Sangiovanni, another wonderful author. And she gets into, obviously, just talking about Amber Fallon and her writing. And so the introduction itself, very nice. Then we get into the stories. Now, I mentioned Chris Enterline doing the interior art. And he is an amazing artist. You're online. If you're watching this, you're online. Look him up. Find him somewhere. Check out his artwork. It's absolutely fantastic. And he does a little illustration for every story, right? On the title page for each story is a little TV, and a picture in the TV screen is by Chris Enterline, and they're fantastic. Just amazing artwork. Here, let's, I'll find one here and show you, if I can, just how great. Oh, so many to choose from. That one's creepy. Oh, here we go. This one looks okay. We'll just, oh, you can't see that very well at all. Oh, well, take my word for it. They're fantastic. Fantastic illustrations. So let's get into the stories. Eclectic mix of stories here. You've got stories about zombies and aliens and weird, creepy things, supernatural things, human stories. Just a nice mixed bag of stuff. Sharks. There's a shark story. And something else that I will mention very shortly. Right off the bat, the first story is called Night Music. And this is a very, very creepy story. About sort of a zombie apocalypse. I'm not sure if that's accurate. There's something. There are these zombie-like creatures, but there's music coming out of them, and it's incredibly creepy. Reading it, I could easily see this as an episode of, say, if there were a new Tales from the Dark Side, or just any sort of horror anthology series on TV, or even a movie that had 4 or 5 stories in it. I could easily see this. I would love to see this on the screen. Just a very, very creepy story with the right director. I think it would make an amazing episode of TV or part of a movie anthology. And it's real short. We're following one person as they're navigating this world. So a couple of stories later, and we have Pretty Shiny, which holds a special place in my heart because it's about squirrels, and squirrels are awesome. And it's a weird one. It's wonderful though, and I should have shown. Well, I can't show you because obviously the illustrations don't show very well. But I love the illustration for that one. Again, completely different than anything else in here. Pretty Shiny with the squirrels, and then what else? This is a really short one. Something Bit Me. It's a really very short but very powerful story. Dawn of the Death Beetles. I want to mention that one because it seems like maybe it could be a prequel to The Terminal, or perhaps the inspiration for The Terminal, her novel. That's the illustration I tried to show you. It was from that story, and it's an alien invasion that takes place on another world. Doesn't happen on Earth, so it's already you've got aliens because it's another planet, and then they're being invaded. But I think the aliens that are being invaded in this story are the aliens that invade Earth in Terminal. The Terminal. I think it seems to be the case. They're very similar. I don't want to say similar stories because that's not quite accurate, but there are similarities in the stories. I'd love to know if there is a connection between the two of them. The Shark That Ate Everything. Mentioned there's a shark story, and it is awesome. Again, these are very short, so I can't go into detail without giving it. I mean, some of them are so quick that almost anything I say is going to give away the punch of the story. Blind, really effective. Tell Me How You Die. I really like this one. It's again, I can't really tell you anything about it except it's basically two people, a couple, running from something that went horribly wrong, and the one character has the ability to tell how people are going to die, and that has something to do with the story, obviously. It's called Tell Me How You Die. Clickers in Space. So Clickers was originally a novel by J.F. Gonzalez and I can't read it from here. Another author, and I feel bad for not knowing his name off the top of my head, but J.F. Gonzalez, this other author, wrote Clickers, which is about giant mutant crab monsters that come out of the sea, and there are other monsters as well. And then J.F. Gonzalez and Brian Keene wrote 3 other Clickers novels. They're all fantastic. They all carry the story on. They add more to it. And there is a tribute anthology. Unfortunately, J.F. Gonzalez passed away. There's a trilogy anthology called Clickers Forever, I believe, that's coming out with a bunch of new Clickers stories by different authors. Some essays, remembrances of J.F. Gonzalez. Some things about, just essays about Clickers. And I cannot wait for this book to come out. I'm a huge fan of the Clickers series, and I'm a huge fan of most of the authors that are in the book. And so Clickers from Space is a story that Amber Fallon wrote for that anthology that I believe did not make it in. Let's see, I should have looked at this first. I swear I read somewhere that it didn't make it into the anthology, that she got permission to use it. Oh, that's why. On the copyright page, sorry, you have to look at the top of my head. On the copyright page, it does say Clickers in Space, originally intended for Clickers Forever, a J.F. Gonzalez tribute anthology, printed with permission from J.F. Gonzalez's estate. So, yeah, so it was written for that, didn't make it in, but it's still a very entertaining story. Interesting how the Clickers end up in space. And then, again, just some more the dick measuring contest at the end of the universe. Love that title. Perhaps the best one in here. Obviously not talked about every story in here, because really you need to read this and discover the stories for themselves. Well written. Obviously, I've become a huge fan of Amber Fallon's writing, especially after the Warblers. And some of these stories, again, a lot of them are very short. Some of them almost feel as if they're more vignettes than a complete story, but they work that way. Some of them are written in, is it second person? Where it says, where it's you are the character. I think there's at least one, I believe, perhaps more. But again, that works the way the story is told. It is a mixed bag. Most of the stories work. Not all of them were perfect. There is, my opinion, is just a little nitpick. I talked about those wonderful Chris Enterline illustrations. There is one that I feel gives away the story. I'm not going to tell you which one, because you're going to read this. You're going to buy this and you're going to read it, because it's well worth your time. And I think you'll know which one I'm talking about. But it's here's the picture at the beginning of the story. I'm reading the story, and there's just a point where it's like, well, okay, that picture obviously is just the end of this. That's how the story ends. So a little disappointed at the giveaway there, but other than that, I mean, it's still a great illustration. Just maybe not necessarily what he should have used, what should have been used for that story. But yeah, just fantastic. Oh, I wish I could. These pictures came out more clearly when I hold them up. There's a great one, a nice Lovecraftian story. Just good stuff. A good mixed bag. You get to see the gamut of Amber Fallon's talents, I think. Although, wow, I mean, I just can't get over the Warblers. This is practically a review for that, but I've already reviewed that. So anyway, TV Dinners from Hell, Amber Fallon. I know I'm rambling and I'm gushing because, yeah, I'm such a huge fan. I'm going to follow I'm going to follow Amber Fallon wherever she goes in her career. Not literally follow her. No, just follow her writing. All right. So with that said, as I said, not a perfect collection. So I'm giving, this is going to look weird. I'm giving TV Dinners from Hell by Amber Fallon gets 4.5 out of 5 frozen TV dinner trays. It reminds me of the game Simon with the bright colors I used. But I'm going to say that the red is, let's say that's spaghetti. And this yellowish color is corn and beans and blueberry cobbler. That's why. Sure. Just take my word for it. They're TV dinner trays. Frozen dinner trays. 4.5 out of 5. Not 5 out of 5. Because it is, again, as with any short story collection, it's a mixed bag. It's a strong short story collection, but not perfect. And there you have it. So I will definitely have links for the book in the description below, unless I forget. Hopefully I won't, and if I do, someone will remind me. But yeah, you highly recommended. Links in the description below. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put them in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. So, you're going to read this. You're going to buy this and read it. I guarantee it. So then we're going to talk about the stories and that one illustration, or maybe all the illustrations, because Chris Enterline's fantastic. We're going to talk about that stuff, but we're going to post spoiler warnings for the people who haven't had a chance to read it yet. Please like, share, and subscribe. So this has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.